Going on, guys? Dialante Daniels and Ed Oliver back at you guys with another Locked on Wizards podcast episode. For today's show, we're going to be talking about this heartbreaking Brooklyn Nets loss. Should the Wizards have called a timeout? I mean, it's tough, man. So let's get right into it, Ed.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is going on, guys? We are back at you with another Locked on Wizards podcast episode. It is your host, Dialante Daniels and Ed Oliver. Ed, it was a tough loss, a real tough loss. You know, a lot of things to talk about. End of the game, possibly calling the timeout, the Nets assistant coach touching the ball and the refs doing absolutely nothing because apparently they didn't see it. And that could have been the potential difference in the game. It was a 1-point loss. What was your main takeaway from this game?
Yeah, the assistant coach, that definitely hurt us. Him touching the ball, the play should have been stopped, or replay something. Maybe even a technical foul on the coach for putting his hand in the cookie jar, putting his hand on the court. But I'm not gonna blame it on that. There were some unforced errors, some unforced turnovers that we had down the stretch. Montrezl Harrell fouling LaMarcus Aldridge, who was playing like the Blazers. LaMarcus Aldridge when we were down by 1 at one point, and we had one foul left to give. KCP already used that foul. And, Trez tries to go for the steal and fouls LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, that's not the reason why we lost the game, but that's just one of the few things, mental errors, mental mistakes that we made. Kyle Kuzma got plucked, dribbling the ball up court, and Kyrie, knocked it out. So guys just dribbling too much. The timeout, Joseph Blair, I understand we did get an open look. That is true. KCP just had a rough night the whole night. So honestly, seeing KCP in there, I probably would have called a timeout just because he was kind of dribbling in no man's land. Then he dribbled back out, then he dribbled back in, and then threw it to Kuz. Kuz hit a wide open shot. He hit the shot before that shot, but he ended up missing this shot because he had a pump fake and then he got an open shot. So Joseph Blair, I think he's done a good job, a great job, but I think the better option probably would have been calling a timeout on that possession right there.
Mm-hmm.
But main takeaways is defensively, we were just awful. It looked like the defense from the past 3 years. I mean, Kyrie Irving got whatever bucket he wanted to get in that first half. We allowed 73 points in the first half. And they had an and one, which was inexcusable to end the first half, where we didn't get back on defense. So the effort was lacking defensively. Kyrie, James Harden was getting to the basket as well. He didn't shoot the ball well, but LaMarcus Aldridge, man, that's inexcusable. The way we let him score tonight, I mean, it just looked too easy. He was hitting the jumpers. He was getting to the basket. It really did look like 2007 or not 2000, but 2012, 2013, whatever years for the Blazers. Then LaMarcus was cooking us. They shot 63% in the first half as well. So it was a tale of two halves. It was one of those Wizards games where we're down by 10 for the majority of the game. Then we try to make a late surge and a late push to get back in the game. And Bradley Beal, he had a rough first half, and then he stepped it up in the second half. So we got to play 4 quarters. We didn't play 4 quarters tonight.
Yeah, I think, man, Kyrie Irving, that's really the main guy. Part-time player, but full-time hooper. The dude was killing the Wizards. He had 30 points, 13 for 23 from the field. I mean, it just seemed like at a point in time, the Wizards could do absolutely nothing with him. I mean, he killed them. The Nets, I said in the last episode when we were talking about our keys to the game, I said protecting the paint and not fouling. The Nets did have 20 free throws, but the Wizards did have 32. But 52% from the field. I mean, and a lot of that is due to Kyrie Irving. I mean, he was killing them. But 52% is a lot. And I told you, I keep telling people, and I keep saying it almost every episode after almost every game, it's tough to consistently win games when you're giving up 119 points, 115 points, and you're in shootout games. It's hard to consistently win basketball games like that and get on a streak. How they beat the 76ers is how you want to do it. These games, like against the Brooklyn Nets, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to consistently win games like that. And giving up 52% from the field. I mean, the Nets only shot 32% from three, but I always say it doesn't really matter if they're not hot from three, if they can just get mid ranges and get to the basket and shoot 52% from the field. It helps them out a lot. It really does. And I think that was the biggest difference because the Wizards won the rebound battle. They both had 12 turnovers. Wizards shot more free throws. Wizards had a higher 3-point percentage than them. I mean, the Wizards shot 47% from the field, but the Nets shot 52. I think just that and LaMarcus Aldridge and Kyrie Irving, those two guys right there, I think they did the Wizards in. I mean, they boosted that field goal percentage up. LaMarcus only missed 4 shots, 11 for 15. Like you said, man, like he was looking like he was back in his prime in Portland. It was crazy what he was doing. So it was tough, man. It was definitely a tough L. I am going to get into the timeout stuff and the coach, the Nets assistant coach, because that was crazy. I mean, if I was Blair and I seen that, I would have had some words after the game because you just don't do that, in the NBA. That's just not something you do. Come on, like I don't know who the guy is. I didn't see his name or hear his name or see it on Twitter yet. But I mean, I'm sure he's been in the league long enough to know that's not what you do. That's just not cool. But before we get into some more game notes, player notes, and some controversial topic, we do have a message from our friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new year, new betting year, as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the number one spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Once again, guys, I want to thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen each and every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Now, for your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. Nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. Listen to Locked On Now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watch it on the Locked On NBA YouTube channel. So, Ed, I mean, I'm hurt, man. I'm really hurt. But who would you say your closing lineup would have been? I know you said KCP. You don't know if you would have had him in there. If you would have give your closing lineup, who would you have had out there to end that game?
Yeah, for all the Deni fans, man, he played well tonight. This was a good game. I like how he bounced back. See, this is what I was telling people. You weren't in the episode, but I was just saying not to overreact, not to panic because he got a DNP, or basically almost a DNP. We saw the rumors on social media saying that he's going to be packaged for Jeremy Grant, Sabonis. We've seen so many rumors flying around today. So just we got to pump our brakes and just take this day by day. Deni, there's gonna be some games where he doesn't get playing time. There's gonna be some games where Daniel Gafford doesn't get a lot of playing time. So, and this was a night where I felt like Gaff definitely could have played a little bit more. I thought he played pretty well in that first half. But Deni impressed me tonight. I thought he played well. I thought he was one of our better defenders tonight. He had the task of guarding Kyrie. He was guarding James Harden. I love the challenge by Joseph Blair where it got overturned. And I was surprised they actually called an offensive foul on James Harden. So I was actually very surprised by that. So I thought Deni did a solid job defending those guys. 2 top 5 scorers in the game of basketball right now. Those guys are they're unguardable. And Kevin Durant didn't play tonight. So, we didn't get to see 3 bona fide scorers. We only got to play against 2 of them. I can't forget about Patty Mills. Patty Mills lit us up a couple times tonight, too. He hit 5 threes, and we talked about that last night, too. That was one of our keys to victory, to stop him from hitting threes, and he hit 5 threes. So that's a big reason why we lost tonight. But the lineup that I did write down that played well was Corey Kispert, Bradley Beal, and Thomas Bryant, Rui, and Deni. That 5 in the third quarter led a comeback. Now the 5 with Trez, Kuz, Brad, and I want to say KCP was in there, or Dinwiddie was in there. Dinwiddie had a rough night shooting tonight. He was pretty bad from the 3-point line. That five, like I said, with Kispert, Brad, Thomas Bryant, Rui, and Deni, they led a nice surge in the third quarter, and I thought they were pretty good defensively as well.
Yeah, and man, like you said, with that closing lineup, I definitely probably would have had Deni in there. Deni definitely had a good game, a nice bounce back, especially coming off a DNP. Just all you can do really is just show the coaches, show the team that you can play, that you shouldn't be getting DNPs. And he probably won't be getting a DNP in the next game. He'll probably be on the court in the next game as well after today's performance. I think he did a good job. Rui Hachimura, best game of the season, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. I think he did a really good job as well. He had a block. Like you said, like we said earlier, when we were talking about Rui Hachimura and guys like Thomas Bryant, we had to wait until we get more games and till they start, getting more acclimated. And I was happy to see what the production that Rui Hachimura gave today. You've seen some flashes of last year's Rui. And I mean, that 3-point shot's looking better. The 3-point shot is looking better, more arc on it. So I'm excited to continue to see Rui Hachimura's improvement. Davis Bertans got 8 minutes. I really could have did without him and his 8 minutes, honestly. We had Raul Neto out of the lineup. Raul Neto got a DNP this time. My question last episode, I was like, Deni, I didn't really get the DNP and Neto getting minutes over him, and now it was the flip. Then he got the minutes and Neto got the DNP. And like I said, I could have did without the Bertans 8 minutes, honestly. But so, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a fluctuating thing. Like, I don't know if Neto's going to play next game. I don't know if this is more of what the rotation is starting to look like. I'm not completely sure on it. But, I mean, other than, honestly, I can't really say outside of Rui and Deni, and I think Montrez had a good game as well, even though he had the bonehead foul on the Marcus Aldridge on the inbounds. Kyle Kuzma hit the clutch 3. It's just a tough loss, man. It really is a tough loss. And I think, once again, they just got to play defense. They got to play better defense, man. They really do. They can't. Like, Kyrie Irving is one thing. We talked about it in the 76ers game with Joel Embiid. We said Joel Embiid is going to do him, right? He was going to get 30. But the key was they didn't let Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, etc. go for 27, 28. You let Kyrie go off. He dropped 30 on you. Okay, it's Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving usually cooks the Wizards anyway. But LaMarcus Aldridge cannot be dropping 27 points on only missing 4 shots. You can't allow it to happen. That kills him. When the others start to contribute and kill you, that's the real difference right there.
Yeah, Aldridge, he went 11 for 15 tonight, 27 points, 6 rebounds, and he was 2 for 3 from the free throw line. So, yeah, he dominated. It was inexcusable. We fouled him on jump shots. It was just inexcusable. I thought we were terrible with the pick and roll too. I thought Davon Sharp got a couple wide open buckets, a couple lobs, easy baskets too. I thought that was inexcusable as well. So yeah, defensively, we got to pick it up. It was bad, but Neto being out, that was definitely a big change from last game. And we played 11 guys. That's still a good amount of guys. You look at the Nets; they played 8 guys. Guys like Blake Griffin aren't playing. Josh Johnson aren't playing. So a playoff team, they're limiting their roster. They're consolidating their roster, or they're not playing a lot of guys. And it might have to come to that point with the Wizards. I do love this depth. I like the depth a lot, but there's just going to be nights where guys are going to collect DNPs, where you have to consolidate the roster and shorten it so guys can get in rhythm. Bradley Beal tonight, we got to talk about it. He just didn't shoot the ball well. He started coming on late, and there was a report, of course, talking about the contract and stuff like that floating around on social media today too, talking about the $242 million that he's eligible for. So tonight he didn't play like a max player. I thought he started, like I said, to wake up in the second half. But nights like this is when we do need Bradley Beal to step up, because when you have another star and superstars on the other side, you're looking for your guy to step up too. And I thought, like I said, at times, but he just didn't dominate the game. And you look at Kyrie, and at times Kyrie was just controlling and dominating the game. And it's just crazy that he's doing this, taking nights off, only playing on road games. It's just crazy that it just shows how good he is. It's ridiculous. But once again, I want to give Deni his credit. I thought he was confident from the 3-point line. He hit 2 threes tonight. Yeah, he hit 2 threes, so he was a lot more confident on the court tonight. And 13 points, 5 boards. I thought he played really good defense. Rui, like you brought up earlier, Rui's 3-pointer has more arc on it, so he's shooting the ball with more confidence as well. And he was running the floor. He got a couple of offensive rebounds. Deni got a couple of offensive rebounds. Was just playing with a lot of heart and a lot of effort. So I do want to give props to Deni tonight. So the people watching from Israel, I'm giving him his props tonight because it is hard when you are a second-year player and you're only 21 and you do ride the pine on one game. So a lot of people could have just hung their heads and been upset. But like I said, I'll give Deni his credit for bouncing back tonight. And he probably played with the most effort tonight. Trez played well too, but like I said, some of the bonehead mistakes. And in the first half, we just had some unlucky breaks too, like because he had a wide open layup where Dinwiddie just threw it all the way up there. Where Trez usually does his wide receiver type thing, where he'll just jump over people. But he had the lane wide open after you caught it, and he just fumbled the ball out. But like I said, for the most part, Trez played well. But there were some mental mistakes that he definitely had tonight. And he wasn't the only one. KCP, really rough night for him. He had 4 fouls and 3 turnovers. I feel like he had more turnovers tonight, but he only had 3. So, but like you said, this one stings. Definitely a winnable game. We're going to be looking back. This one and the Bulls one are 2 games where it's like, man, if we could have got those back. So it's tough. But we got to move on to the next one. Got the Raptors up next, so we got to have a short memory.
Yeah, and it's tough when I'm looking at Spencer Dinwiddie as well. He has to play big when you're playing against teams like the Nets. Kyrie and James Harden. You're looking for your stars to step up, and your number 2 guys to step up. And Bradley Beal, like you said, was struggling, and I think majority people would say he didn't look like a supermax player tonight. Spencer Dinwiddie, a lot of people would say he didn't look like that number 2 option tonight. He got out. You can easily say he got outplayed by Patty Mills. I mean, people are looking for more from Bad, and people are looking for more from Spencer in these big games, man. We spoke about Kyrie Irving. He was in control, man. He was getting whatever he want. He dominated. And I feel like in these big games, we don't say that enough about Bradley Beal. We don't say, Bradley Beal just dominated. He was in control. He was getting whatever he wanted. They couldn't stop him. We say that about a lot of the opposition all the time, So, and I'm just saying that because I know these are what a lot of the Wizards fans are thinking. They're thinking the same thing. And when you're talking about opting out and getting all this money, but yet when it's the games like the Nets, Wizards fans are like, hey, Brad, this is your time to take over, So, that's all I'll really say on that. I did want to talk about, the coach thing. I thought that was just crazy. Sticking your hand out. Yeah. I don't know if he'll get fined. He'll probably get fined. I don't know. But that's crazy. That's just not cool. I would have been more upset about that towards the end of the game if I was like on the coaching staff of the Wizards. I would have been a little bit more upset because who does that? That's pretty lame. That's pretty unacceptable. Not even to say lame. That's just unacceptable at the NBA level to involve yourself in the game like that. So that was really bad. And just one note on the ending play. As soon as I seen KCP get the ball and it was just standing there for a little bit, I would have called timeout. That's all I'll say on it.
No, with you, yeah. And with Brad, yeah, we've seen him dominate games. We just want to see more consistency. And once again, when you're looking across and you're playing against James Harden, Kyrie, or you're playing against Zach LaVine one night, or Joel Embiid and other stars that you're going to be compared to, yeah, we want to see that. The All-Star votes. I don't really care about the All-Star votes. I know Bradley Beal, he's been vocal about that in the past and the 2K rating and different things like that. So I know he's not happy about that he didn't even get a vote in the top 10 or 20 or whatever it is. And I've been voting for him, but like I said, who cares? But at the same time, it just is a little telling. I think he's going to make the All-Star game. I mean, that's another conversation. But this was just one of the nights where we were expecting it. We were expecting him to come in and drop, 25, 30 against, Kyrie, because we know Kyrie's going to come in and do that. So when you know somebody else is going to do that, that's when you were looking for our star to elevate his play and come in and dominate. So that's all we're saying. But Gafford, the minutes for Gafford were questionable again.
Yeah.
He actually did not foul tonight. He actually had 0 fouls. It's really weird from him. And we were talking about that yesterday too. Like this is a game where they didn't have even though LaMarcus did dominate, he's not a big, he shoots jumpers. That's LaMarcus' game, kind of like a finesse game. It wasn't like a Joel Embiid where he's going right at you. Nurkic is going right at you. Valanciunas is going right at you. We can name at least 5 of the bigs that, would get Sabonis and guys like that. So, it was kind of a head scratcher why Gafford didn't play towards the end. But once again, this roster is a lot of guys that can play. So, trade deadline is February 10th. We'll see what happens. Was that like 20 days from now? So it's quickly approaching. So.
Yeah, I mean the Gafford stuff is maybe they just didn't like the matchup with Aldridge, even though I mean he was cooking everybody, whether it was Harold or Brian, it really didn't matter. I mean, I think you definitely could have got Gafford some more playing time. It is just weird for him to start and then just kind of just disappear. I can see when he's in the foul trouble, etc. But if he's not in foul trouble, I think he should be out there, man. I really do. And to go back to your point about Kyrie Irving, when Kyrie Irving come in, you're expected to elevate your play. That's one of the things I will say, about John Wall that I felt like he did. Like when it was Kyrie and John Wall, I feel like they really used to go at each other and have really good battles. John Wall elevated his play and played well. Kyrie did what Kyrie always does, and when there's a guy like James Harden opposite of Bradley Beal, etc., people are expected to see Bradley Beal elevate that game and really turn up. And I mean, I just personally didn't really see it tonight. Now, he did do a good job facilitating. He had 9 assists. He did do a good job with facilitating and moving the ball. But, when it came to take over time, I just felt like that was missing a little bit. So, did you want to do player of the game, X Factor?
Yeah, we can. We can. Unfortunately, we'll do it because tomorrow we got special guest Coretta Parks coming on tonight, so we'll do a preview tomorrow. So we'll save the preview for tomorrow for the Raptors game. My player of the game was LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, you could go with Kyrie. But Aldridge, goodness gracious, I mean, he really was unstoppable. There were some points where he had the post move on Kuzma down the stretch. He had a jumper where the ball kind of rattled. I felt like it was going to come out the rim, but it rattled back in. I was like, yeah, it's just his night tonight. It's his night. There's nothing we could do because once you let a player get hot, the rim just opens up. It's like an ocean, basically. So you can't just let guys like that get hot. And it's a done deal. So play the game, LaMarcus, X Factor, unfortunately, Kyrie. And I'm happy to see Deni bounce back. Like I said, I'm happy that Deni didn't hang his head and all the rumors coming out. He played well. Rui played well tonight too.
Yeah, I would say player of the game, Kyrie. He killed them. He started it off. X Factor, 100% LaMarcus Aldridge. I mean, vintage performance by him. Like you said, positive notes to end it all for him. Rui Hachimura, really happy to see him have his best game of the season. And Deni Avdija, I'm happy to see him play well coming off the DMP because, he could have easily been out there pouting or just let it get to him mentally and struggle. But he didn't. He went out there and did his thing. I thought he should have been in the closing lineup over KCP. And also I didn't have an issue with Neto not getting minutes. And like I said before, I could do without the Berton 8 minutes, honestly. But trade deadline coming up, Ed, we'll see. I mean, it sounds like it would really suck if the Wizards did nothing, next to nothing, like it was something minor, because we've been hearing a lot of different things and all of this. So I'm expecting us to come on here and talk about something worthy of talking about. That's my expectation. My expectations are up, for a decent move, because there's no way we've been hearing all this noise about the Wizards and trades, blah, 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 and they do something minuscule.
Right. Yeah, last thing before we head out, there is a report I can't remember which beat reporter reported. I got to read the article, but Aaron Holiday is available for trade. So I mean, all the reports are going to say everybody. So and so is available for trade. So and so they're going to for the next 2 weeks they're going to say everybody's available for a trade. So, but yeah, that's the news for today.
Yep. And sadly, guys, I wish we could end it off on a dub. But once again, I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Well, guys, would have been nice. 2-game winning streak, 76ers, Nets, 2 legitimate opponents, but sadly not. L by 1. Wizards have had a couple tough L's, so that continues.
Yeah.
On to the next, man. On to the next.
Short memory. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell. Hail to the Wizards.